Methodist Church in downtown Tyler will celebrate its 175th anniversary this Sunday. In addition to their weekly services, they'll also have horse carriage rides to take parishioners back to when this church was founded before the Civil War. The church will also be offering tours of their archives, which has a full church history.
There are a lot of pictures of what the church looked like, what the sanctuary looked like at the turn of the century, what it looked like before it was remodeled. There are pictures of the church with horse-drawn carriages and streetcar railroad tracks out in front of the church back when there were dirt streets. It's just an opportunity to see how long this church has been here, and even though times have changed, Marvin Church has been at this location at 300 West Erwin for 130 years.
And as we've recently reported, that church has renovated its steeple in honor of this big anniversary.